Evening, everybody. Moving drama within the next 2 weeks. So much to do. And moving companies are ghosting me, which is not fun. But that's kind of standard around here. Plus, the prince, the golden child, sits in his room and smokes weed all day. So I told my aunts, who baby him just like my mother did, that he, as the executor, I'm like, I can have the sheriffs throw him out. So either he's known for months when he had to be out by. So either you come and hold his hand and do it for you, and continue his teenage delusion, or I'll physically have him removed because he sits in his room and smokes weed and watches sports and plays video games and eats pizza like he's 18 years old. So nonetheless, just letting you know an update of my situation and why I've been a little sporadic. But I have an important video. Offerings for Lilith. So, what are some of the common offerings you can give to Lilith in thanks for her doing something for you, or as an offering to try to, to encourage her to potentially do a spell for you, or just, show your appreciation if she is your matron deity as she is with me. We're going to go over that. So, one of the more common ones is red roses. Lilith has long been associated with red roses, with lust, with seduction, passion, things of that nature. Red roses, get a little single. I have a single vase on my altar. I brought a couple things to show you, but a lot of it I wasn't going to take it off my altar. So it's staying where it is until the day before I move, and I have to bubble wrap it all up. So yes, red roses, very common offering for Lilith. Another one in the same vein is red wine. And do not cheap out. You don't have to get like a super expensive bottle, but it better not come from a box or be made for cooking. Something Mediterranean, full of passion. Yes, red wine. Lilith is a big fan of red wine. I have a little silver cup that I put red wine in that sits on my altar. And all my offerings, I have a plate with Lilith's sigil on it, so she knows those offerings are for her. It's important. You can if you're on a budget, you can print out a piece of paper that has her sigil and put that paper on a plate, but something that, takes away all guesswork of who it's for. So yes, red wine, another big one. Another common one with Lilith, especially if you know her story, and it's commonly used in witchcraft, and I have to do my own video on it when I physically have one. Apples. Lilith loves red apples. It's a sign of defiance, of free will, forbidden knowledge, which she's all about. So, red apples. And you leave these things until like a flower would wilt or an apple starts to rot, then you get rid of it, kind of thing. The wine will evaporate over time. Just keep filling the cup. Another common one with Lilith in her, very classy, very seductive nature is liqueur-filled chocolates. She loves them. So, Godiva type stuff. Yeah, in the little foil. Good choice. She really likes those as well. Seems to make her happy. So that's another good choice. One of the more common ones, but you got to be a little careful not to overdo this one because it is the best one, but it's kind of addicting to them when you do it. It's addicting to demons when you give this offering, and I am, of course, talking about blood. Important spells, yes. You want to dress the candle in some blood. You want to leave a blood offering. By blood offering, I didn't bring it down, but I have a lancet, the same ones a diabetic uses, little prick, throw it away, drop, that kind of blood. Nothing crazy. Certain spells women can do, they can use a specific kind of blood, but make sure, ladies, that you only use that type of blood for those rituals, because otherwise it's considered as garbage and disrespectful unless you're doing like a badass love/lust spell or a fertility spell. It's the most powerful ingredient, but it's very niche in how you use it. And also when you're using blood, if you're giving a blood offering, you have to draw that blood specifically for that offering. Not, oh, I picked the scab, or oh, I cut myself shaving. You know, unless, well, cut yourself shaving, maybe if you did it right away. But to be on the safe side, you know, I've used blood from when I cut myself shaving, but I was on my way to make an offering anyway. But it's best to specifically draw that blood for that offering, so she knows, you know, like, this blood is for you. This isn't, oh, I have this left over. You know, the intention of it is very clear. So, and that'll degrade over time. Guys, you can give a certain offering that women can't either. You get my drift? But don't come off as sexual. Lilith is highly sexual, but she is not to be seen in a sexual manner, even though she loves sex magic. More or less, she'll encourage you to perform such things with your succubi or incubi if you have a spirit companion that is one, as I do. Two succubi. So, but one isn't sexual with me. It's we've known each other a long time. I talked about that in another video. So that's another offering that always, well, not always, typically goes well. Another one, especially, and this is, you know, a little specific. I specifically give this one when I want to do hexing or any type of baneful magic. Snakeskin. Lilith is associated with snakes, serpents, so snakeskin. It's also an important ingredient with dressing a candle for a lot of baneful magic spells. So, you know, most of us in the dark arts keep it on hand. I do. A little envelope of it. You can buy anything online now. Snakeskin, another good one. And then there's some offerings that are considered more permanent. In other words, you can leave it there and nothing, you know, it's going to last. Certain types of crystals. Obsidian is a good one to give an offering for Lilith. Moonstone, it's associated with female energy. It's another one. You can always do clear quartz because it's pretty universal. Rose quartz because it's associated with love and lust. Carnelian because it's associated with power and rage, and Lilith is powerful. I have on my altar, I have carnelians around each candle, which leads me to that. This is more like offering plate kind of things. Other things you can give offerings to Lilith are, you know, things that go away quick, like consumables. And I'm mainly talking about candles and incense. Her favorite incense, and it's kind of hard to find and expensive. It's not surprising considering another thing she's associated with is dragon's blood incense, which looks like this. See that chunk? This is actually tree resin because it's the real stuff, and that's important. You get the real stuff, not the stick stuff or some kind of red powder that's made to smell like dragon's blood incense. The real stuff. It's a tree resin. You got to put it in a mortar and pestle and crush it. Very important, especially for rituals with Lilith. And it's not too hard to find. If you do have a hard time getting it, like, I know there's this cheap stuff. It's like red powder incense. They call it dragon's blood. It's not. I don't think there's any actual real dragon's blood in there. You know, if you do have to resort to that, which you could do if you're having trouble finding the real stuff, is you can get the red powder dragon's blood incense and then buy dragon's blood oil, which will have like little pieces of this real stuff in the bottom of the oil, and you can put a little bit of oil on, and that's kind of a workaround. Another big one for Lilith is candles, specifically red and black candles, because those are her colors, and you can dress that in certain types of oils depending on, you know, what you're thanking her for. Dragon's blood's a good one, of course. Could be specifically Lilith ritual oil, which, you know, is made just for her. Depending on the spell, you know, maybe special favors oil. I'm trying to think of what I have on hand. These are for offerings. We're not talking about spell. We're talking about like candle offerings, not dressing a candle for a spell. So those would be the ones I would use in that situation. Certain types of, you know, like non-working tools, but things that you can put on your Lilith altar that she'll specifically like would be like statues and figurines of snakes, of owls. I have a little brass owl that I found actually down here. It's old, it's brass, and it's an owl, and it's cool, and it's on there now. So anything with snakes or owls or dragons, specifically black dragons, I'm searching for the right blue dragon to put on my altar. But you know, a little bit of a familial Casanova thing with that. So that's why everybody knows blue dragons are the best ones. I mean, it's common knowledge. Like Lilith is the most powerful goddess. Blue dragons are the best dragons. Fuji apples are the best apples. Things like that. You know, it's just some things that, you know, from time to time I pass on the wisdom. You all know who the hottest woman in the world is, so we don't have to go over that. INFJs are the most intuitive people. You know, there's just certain things that are not, you know, not debatable. Baby boomers are the worst generation. Yeah, you know, certain things we all know, right? That are not subjective, that they're objective. All right, so those are some other offerings with the candles and stuff. There, you can open yourself up to possession and see what happens. I'd be very cautious with that if you don't know what you're doing. But it is something you could do. Trying to think. What did I miss? Yeah, I think I covered all the main ones. I'm sure there's more, but again, those are the more common offerings to give Lilith. Ooh, I know what I missed. I remember now. That's a good one. Me of all people forgot. She loves poetry. You can write her a poem. Leave that on your offering plate on the altar. Usually she likes that. She likes praise. She likes people trying to clear her name because she's the longest slandered and most slandered woman in the world, mostly unjustly. Like I said, when it comes to how the Abrahamics talk about Lilith, some of it's true. Some of it can be debatable, but most of it's just outright slander. So yes, those are ways you can show Lilith thanks for various situations where you would, show her how much you appreciate her and her knowledge and her teaching you and her watching over you and just being, in her inner circle of people. I hope that was helpful for everybody out there, especially for those of you that stumbled across this video because you are new to the left-hand path and are trying to forge a relationship with Queen Lilith. So the videos will keep coming. It may be probably going to be sporadic until October because a lot going on the next couple weeks. And if I don't do it, nobody else will, and nobody's going to help me. So, until next time, remember to be your true self, to always battle the good old boys club, never back down, never give an inch. Feel the strength of Lilith and know that that strength is truth. The things you want to call those corrupt good old boys out on is true. Tradition is just an excuse for corruption and exploitation.